Hey everyone, thank you for joining us on another Culture Cast. Today we have a very special member of our office with us. We have Petros, the one and only infamous Petros. So, little thing that most people don't know is that Petros is our inside sales agent, and some people might not know what that is, but Petros is the one in charge of funneling all our leads that come in and leads that he goes out and gets on his own. But the most interesting thing about Petros is that when he started in our office, Petros was only 17 years old. He wasn't even old enough to have a real estate license yet, but as the minute he turned 18, he was out there getting his license, and year to date, he's still the youngest agent we've ever had on board. You just recently turned 19 though, so congratulations on that. It's not easy making it to the ripe old age of 19. But we have you on today because I want to talk to you about obviously what it feels like to be so young in the industry, and also how you overcame the fear that most people have of prospecting, which is your forte. That's what you do day in, day out. You know, how is it that you're able to build a rapport with people you don't know? And tell us a little bit about like your down times and your good times and everything in between. Like even today, you came to me and you said, "I love this business," or "I love this company." You said, "I love this company." So first of all, just start off by telling me a little bit about yourself, and who you are, how you came to know of Culture State, and anything you think is pertinent.
Okay. Like you said, my name is Petros. I originally attended Sinai Christian Academy. It's in Linden. The owner of the school was a friend of his and asked me if he wouldn't mind coming out, teaching me and some of my friends about financial education. And I didn't really know what to expect. I was told that some real estate people were going to come. I had heard about the real estate industry. I didn't really know anything about it. I just knew you help people buy and sell homes. I was working in the city for the summer, and I realized I didn't really want to do physical labor jobs. So I reached out to him, and he was more than happy to come to bring me on board. I got my real estate license. It wasn't that easy, but prior to that, he allowed me to apprentice under him, and he was teaching me how to cold call and prospect. That was a whole issue in itself, calling different people every single day, getting cursed out at, trying to figure out how it is to speak to people. And what I came down to really is just treating them like an actual person. If I'm trying to give you a sales pitch, no one wants to hear that over the phone. Who knows, they could have just woken up, they're going to work. No one really wants to hear that. So by being under him and him teaching me how it is to actually be a proper sales representative and not a salesperson who's just trying to get your money but actually bring some value to you, it helped a lot. But the biggest issue for me was my age. Like you said, I came into it when I was 17, and that was an issue for me specifically because people were looking down on me. They're like, "Oh, you're a real estate agent, that's cute." Not that, wow, you're actually trying to make something for yourself. Everybody thought it was more or less adorable that I was trying something out, that I wasn't actually doing something. A lot of people till this day still think that I'm trying out real estate, not that I'm actually a real estate professional. But because of that, and because he was along my side, and I've had him and I've been mentoring under him, he helped me get through that little rough patch. And today, like he said, I told him I love this company because I was speaking to a client, and because we're located in Scotch Plains, but his property is located in East Rutherford, he didn't want to work with us. All I did was just brag about the company and how we're the #1 real estate marketing agency. We became the #1 largest growing in Scotch Plains and Fanwood, and we've only been open for about 2 years now.
Yeah, just about.
I bragged about that to him, and he fell in love. He said, "You know what? You show that you love your agency. You're aggressive. You didn't let me hang up the phone on you. I need somebody like you."
Yeah.
So you turned him around. Yeah.
That's awesome.
It was all because of this company, because it's not just an average business. We actually treat everybody like a family. You know, I can go to the office manager and ask for help. I can go to one of the other agents and ask for help.
Yeah, absolutely. But I know that when speaking to you when you first got started in this, your parents had other plans for you, right? They wanted you to go to college. They wanted you to do a more traditional route.
Yeah.
How was that for you to like just get past that, and how were you able to convince your parents to let you take the lead for at least a year, right? You told them, "Let me see if I like this, and if I do, I'm going to continue. If I don't, I'll go to school." How did you make that happen?
It was iffy, honestly, because my mom, my entire life was get good grades in middle school so you can go to a good high school and so you can go to a good college and have a good job. The owner of the high school I attended, he was a business person, and he told me, "Look, do you want to waste your time in a school that's probably going to teach you the same things you could read and get into debt and owe people money? You're going to be stressed out in life, or you determine what it is that you're worth." And when he had phrased that question to me, it really made me think, but it didn't make me act. What made me act was when I actually came here and I saw Lewis's diligence. I saw that he'll be here sometimes up to 7, 8, 9 o'clock. just because he has to work. There's no excuse, because he knows his value. There was no way I was gonna spend either my money, take out a loan, or ask my parents for help if I didn't even believe in it to begin with. I believe college is for certain people. Just ever since I was young, my parents always knew I learned differently. I didn't really learn from people teaching me. I always sought the knowledge myself. So in my opinion, it just wasn't advantageous for me to waste my time, effort, and money and then get stressed over college, because it's very stressful. I know too many friends right now are calling me saying, hey, how are you so happy? Blah, blah, blah. How is it that you're doing what you're doing?
Yeah.
It's because I genuinely wanted it. I wasn't pressured or forced into being a real estate or going to college. Luckily, my parents were understanding and they gave me the chance. I told them, let me get that year, and they saw how much I loved it. They saw that I bought real estate books and I started learning. They saw how it is where time to time I'll stay here late sometimes and I'll work. It's just because I love what I do.
Of course.
And luckily that's what my parents wanted for me. They just want me to be happy. So at least I had that working out for me.
Yeah. And I remember you told me in the very beginning that your goal was to prove all your friends in your circle wrong about you being foolish for not going to college. Right? You were going to make yourself a success and outpace all of them who were in school or were going to be graduating. So I know you're on path to do that. Like you're doing incredible things. Not only you're helping the office, but you're learning so much. You're like one of the, I would say, the brightest agents we have here, just because you're day in, day out. You're doing what other people don't want to do. You're doing all the uncomfortable stuff. So that leads me to my next topic. How did you get past that fear factor that most people have? And maybe for you, you didn't have it. I know for me, when I first made my first attempts at prospecting, it was a little nerve-wracking. I was worried and nervous that people would, be mean and rude and curse me out.
Yeah.
But then again, I thought to myself, what's the worst that could happen? It's literally the worst that can happen. They hang up on me, But I don't know, what did you go through? I mean, how did you make it more of like a routine thing for you?
That's a great question. I remember the first time you had me prospect, you told me just to see if they'd be interested in selling. And if so, or if not, try and get their email. And I'll never forget a woman answered the phone when you first put me on the phone. You just told me what to say and you walked into your office. So I was like stuck in the situation. I think that was what helped me, because the biggest issue in my opinion with people in general today, or mentorship, is everybody's holding their hands and babying them. So we're not babies, we're not children, we're adults. People who are going to be real estate agents, they have to be adults. They have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. So the only way I was ever able to get out of my shell was by you putting me in the midst of that and leaving me alone to understand it. Yeah. And that was what helped me. Good. Because after that, I started falling in love with it. I do calls all the time, and you know that. Yeah, of course. So because of that, it just developed more and more and more. Hearing people's rebuttals, hearing them curse me out, made me learn. I try to, instead of allowing that to negatively impact me, to positively impact me. Sure. So for example, let's say someone's telling me, I don't want to sell my house, and all real estate agents suck. Yeah. Instead of me taking it like, well, all right, you're having a bad day, I guess I'll just call somebody else. Correct. I said, okay, well, why? Why do you feel that way? Because let me add some value to you, because clearly somebody gave you a bad impression of what we are, what we do. Yeah. I'm so proud for who I am that I want to give them a better picture. Correct. And that's what helped me, is that pride I have in myself. Exactly. I don't want anybody to think that I'm average. Yeah. I've seen you go on listing appointments for $700,000-$800,000 homes. Like, you've gotten listing appointments for other agents that were $2 million homes. Like, there is no limit to what you could do. You're 17, 18 years old making prospecting calls on people who own $1 million homes, and it was like nothing, right? Because once you get past that fear factor, it doesn't matter whether you're calling somebody in the low 100s or someone in the millions. It's just about your confidence level in yourself, and you were able to build that up pretty quickly. But I know a lot of agents don't, and they have that kind of thing that they just want to stay away from it as far as possible. But do you think a real estate agent could survive on just referrals alone, or just on other ways of getting business? Maybe maybe there's fear of influence and leaving prospecting out of it. Do you think that there is a successful agent out there who can make it big without prospecting? I believe it's possible, but I personally would say, why would you want to take that chance? That's like saying you have an 80% chance of getting a lot of deals if you do prospecting, but the other 20% is other stuff. Sure. Why would you want to waste your time on the 20% if the 80% is proven to work?
Of course. I have an agent that just joined our organization and told me that he's big on prospecting. And he told me that, I asked him, how did your office do it? What was the vibe? What was the culture? And he told me that it was frowned upon in his office to prospect. And he's coming from Virginia. Yeah. So he's telling me, and it was like a big name company. He said, the people that they frowned upon, like prospect, because they thought it was just like rude to call people, or it was just like unethical to do that. Meanwhile, I'm making these calls and I'm getting listings, is what he's telling me. So I said, well, you're in the right place, because that's all we do. But I can see how people may, especially maybe like people who are so stuck in their ways, might use that excuse to not have to do it because it's uncomfortable. Yeah. People don't like being uncomfortable. People like being comfortable. People would rather join a golf club and pay $1,500 a month to see if they can get business from people that go golfing there, as opposed to, calling expireds for free. So normally an agent would start with buyers or leads that the office would give them, or rentals and things of that nature, but you start with the hardest stuff first. So what kind of advantage do you think that's going to put you in like 3 years down the road? You're 1 year in now, so 2 years from now, where do you think you're going to be?
I think that by starting off with the prospect and the sales first, it allowed me to really understand what it means to face your fears, because it's not comfortable speaking to hundreds of people a day. It really isn't. But after continuously doing it day after day, it made me comfortable doing everything. I've gone on a lot of listings by myself. Yeah. I won't even ask for help. I'll just do it. Just instead of me asking questions and allow the fear to kick in, I'll just do it. Yeah. So where I see myself 2 years from now, I definitely want to have a team. That's without a question. I'm gonna have a team. I want to teach them everything that Lewis has taught me and more, because obviously I'm in this industry to learn.
Sure.
And I would like to buy my parents a house, hopefully in Jackson, because I know that's where my parents want to live. And I would like to own 2 rental properties by then.
And by then you will be a 21-year-old broker, which is insane. And 3 years after that, you'd be a 24-year-old instructor, which is insane. Instructors are usually like 50, 60 years old. Yeah. So I mean, like your future is really bright. So I'm just pointing this out because a lot of kids come straight out of high school and they don't fit that mold of going to college because they don't see their passion there. And this is a good opportunity for a lot of kids who were maybe, I don't know if they were classified as having like learning disabilities. Some kids have learning disabilities. All they are is just super hyper, have a lot of energy. Yeah. It's not that they're stupid, it's just that their focus is more on the actions and doing, you understand? So a lot of kids who are classified as that could become real estate agents, could become loan officers, could become any kind of salesperson, insurance. There's so many different fields that they can take up without having to go to school for 4 or 8 years. And I'm glad that, not that you had any learning disabilities because you were the sharpest kid in your class, but with kids that don't necessarily fit that mold, doesn't mean they have to be stuck making minimum wage or making an average salary. They can make as much money as they want, but the opportunities have to be presented to them. That's why we did the financial education day at your school. That's why we're continuing to do them now. Hopefully we're going to do a few more in the next few years, and get that word out there, because there is a lot of in the schools, there's a lot of, how would I say, disconnect between real life and actually what they teach you in the books, which is really, you're going to use maybe 10% of that. And it's really unfortunate because kids come out, out of school, out of high school, pretty much like vulnerable and naive to the whole world. They don't know about credit. They don't know about what money really means. Oh, yeah. They don't know about how to finance yourself through college. They don't really know much. So if they understood at least how taxes work, they would be such a huge advantage. So I really wanted to have you today because I'm sure there's a lot of people who either are young or know a young person who is lost in their ways but might fit the mold of a great salesperson. This is an opportunity for them to watch to see what a young 19-year-old has done in the course of 1 year with his life, or 1 year and change, and how happy you are and how great your future looks. You understand? So any advice you would give kids your age?
Don't be so blinded by what people tell you. Look into things yourselves, because like you said with taxes, if only I was taught what taxes was and what it truly means when I was in high school, I would understand and value money more. And look into credit. Please learn how vital credit is, and don't be an overspender. Acknowledge that money is a necessity if you want to be successful. You should not let your money be replaced with monetary things that's only temporary. Yeah. Your money should make you more money. Yeah. It shouldn't be substituted with a car you're not going to have in the next 5 years.
Now, Now let's get on a couple of things that are more about you, personal things that we could share with them. Tell me the funniest thing that's ever happened to you while prospecting or while on the field in real estate. I'm sure you've had a few.
I've had a few. The funniest thing prospecting, dang, I've got a lot. You hear some interesting things. I'll say that there are some funny characters. One time, I was calling and it went straight to voicemail. I didn't notice it. And the guy said, hello? I said, hi, my name is Petros. He gave my pitch. And he was having a conversation with me. It wasn't up until 5 minutes and he said, oh, by the way, this is a voicemail. And then I heard the automated tone at the end. I was like,
wow,
that must have
been a great answering machine.
It was. I wasn't even upset. I was like, wow, he's got a gift.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
That's funny. Do you think it was really an answer? He wasn't just making the beep sound with his voice?
If he made it with his voice and that whole little auto tone, you know, like it sounds like a lady, he did that.
Oh, no.
He should definitely go into voice acting.
It might have been a guy from Police Academy or something.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I hope so. No. I'm gonna call him right back and say, hey, are you looking for a voice actor?
Yeah. Well, there's stories, I'm sure. You know, there's a lot of things that happen while you're calling. I know you had people curse you out too. There's plenty of people. Bad days, I'm sure you've had, right? You want to share any of your bad days?
Yeah, actually, my family was going through something, so I am an emotional sponge. So if they feel bad, I feel bad, but I try to always make them feel better. And one day I just came in, I was a little down, and as soon as I picked up the phone, hi, my name is Petros, immediately cursed me out. I was like, all right. Second person cursed me out, third person, it was just a whole line of people that cursed me out, and it had never happened to me before.
Yeah. But you got past it.
Yeah.
Right?
You have to. You can't let other people's negativity get to you. Honestly, it's not worth it.
No, not at all. Any books you would recommend?
I love Simon Sinek just because the way he teaches is very similar to how I'm interested in learning. I love when people teach about the brain or the origin of things and then expands, and that's how Simon Sinek teaches.
Yeah.
So because of that, my favorite book is Start With Why, because you have to know your why to determine your what. Like, why do you want to be, let's say, successful? Mm-hmm. People will say, I want to be successful. Okay, why?
Sure.
Not what does successful mean to you, because some people could say, if I have a lot of money. Other people could say, if I can help a lot of people. Some others could say, if I just have a lot of things.
Got it.
But why?
Awesome.
Once you could find your why, it helps you determine what you're going to do and how you're going to do it.
Yeah, that's an incredible book. I think that everyone should read that. And if anyone's thinking about becoming a leader, Simon Sinek has a great book.
Yes.
With Leaders Eat Last, and a lot of great leaders don't realize that. Mm-hmm. You know, so yeah, Simon Sinek has some good stuff.
He's got a lot of good stuff.
He's got some good stuff. Really yeah, so it's a good choice. Mm-hmm. I know you've read a bunch of other books too, but that is a really good book for everyone to read. I guess the last question for you would be, if you had to do only one thing for the rest of your life as a real estate agent, what would it be?
As a real estate agent? Teach. Probably teach.
Awesome.
Because there's value in helping other people instead of you helping yourself.
You won the prize.
There's a lot of value when you help other people.
That's great. Yeah, no, I mean, that's incredible. People don't realize that. Some people would probably either say, I'd work with nothing but sellers, you know, but obviously that has its limitations too, right? Mm-hmm. How many sellers can you handle?
Exactly.
But you can teach an infinite amount of people. Mm-hmm. And that's what we're trying to do by doing these videos as well.
Yeah.
So that's a good answer, Petros. You're wise beyond your years.
Thank you.
I'm gonna watch my job. Petros, want to come in? But thank you so much, bro. I appreciate you being on the show today, and also for being here with us. We do consider you being part of this family, and you're irreplaceable, bro. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for watching. Petros, where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram, Prodigy the Realtor. You can always find me here at Culture Estate. I'm here 9 to 5 every day. I love what I do.
You can't owe anybody money because they know where to find you. You're always here. Thank you guys for watching. If you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to all our social media outlets. That includes YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, where you can find us under Culture Estate. And if you found this video to be valuable, please share it with your friends or anyone else that you think could benefit from it. And thank you once again for watching this episode of Culture Cast. Take it easy, guys. Have a great day.